The More in Minutes series gives you quick-hit, easy-to-apply tips for getting a little bit more out of the SAP Concur solutions you already have. So you can bring a lot more control over spending, more value back to the business, and more time back in your day. In this More in Minutes video, we're going to look at getting the most out of your Concur Detect by Oversight solution by getting beyond pre-spend control with post-payment analysis. Let's dive in. Concur Detect by Oversight provides critical prepayment approvals, so you can protect your cash before it's gone. But if that's all you do, you'll miss half the story. Using Concur Detect for post-payment analysis allows you to spot mistakes and patterns in employee behavior, identify when a team may need more training, and pinpoint fraud. Here's how to get it done. Approximately every 2 weeks, Concur Detect analyzes all expense reports approved for payment during that period, looking for patterns of activity that may demonstrate risk. So while working in the Concur Detect workbench, you can look at exceptions by different views. In this case, we're looking by employee. Often, you'll be looking to see if a repeat offender has any new exceptions. Maybe it's someone that's been flagged for issues recently. Or maybe he or she is part of the small group of employees that makes up the vast majority of high-risk spending. From here, you can dive into specific employee information to understand their exceptions during this time period. So, we can look at Alan DeMeo and quickly see that he has several new exceptions that Concur Detect has identified since the last time Concur Expense sent all paid reports to Detect for analysis. By selecting his name, we immediately see all 3 exceptions. And if we select the travel fraud risk exception in the lower panel, we now see the summary of one specific exception. And from this screen, we can do all kinds of analysis. We can see the priority and confidence ratings for this exception. We can learn more about the merchant with a link that takes you right to a Google results page to get more information. We can get key transaction information like date, amount, expense type, and the receipt. And you can click on the receipt link and see the actual attachment without leaving Detect. By moving to the Entities tab, we can see supporting information about the transaction without leaving the system, like all the credit card detail associated with this charge on the left. When you choose the Exceptions tab from the top, you see a list of all of this employee's exceptions and the status of those exceptions that Concur Detect identified from his spending habits over time. Here you can see the first few ended up being approved and in policy, but what's concerning are the next 4 where issues were identified. And perhaps even more troubling is that there are several new findings since then in various stages of review. This is how you identify a pattern that you can now address. We know how powerful Concur Detect is in catching pre-approval mistakes, miscategorizations, and even fraud. But this example shows you how to use the insight Concur Detect provides to identify behaviors and patterns that create risk, to do the kind of post-spend analysis that you couldn't do before when you were focused solely on the individual one-off transaction. So don't gum up the process by front-loading all your controls in prepayment. Let AI catch the big issues there. Then use post-payment analysis to get a total view of payments so you can catch everything without slowing anything down. After all, you automated your expense reporting system to drive greater efficiency. You probably don't want to go backwards.